Rick, can you hear me? Can you see me? Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Jesus and John is the topic, part 2. Hope the recession good, positive vibes, positive energy, good life, good health. Peace, everybody. What's happening? What's good? We're going to look at Jesus and John again today. We're going to talk to some people. If you've been rocking with me, we're going to be talking specifically to the people that's been rocking with me for a minute. Got some information to share with you, some fresh downloads to drop with you to finish up on the topic of John and Jesus. And breaking down the Bible, this is ex-Christian Bible study, breaking down the meaning of the symbols in the Bible outside of the confines of religion. Mic check 1 2. Make sure we good and we coming in. How you doing? Peace, good vibes, good health, good energy to everybody that's in here. We are doing ex-Christian Bible study. So with that said, let me do my preamble before I start cooking. Y'all get up in here. It's gonna be a good one. We're gonna speak through the veil. We're gonna speak outside the veil, and we're gonna make sure our people understand the information in this book. Appreciate the support and everybody that's in here. So I am not sitting in front of you with the attempt to be considered right according to anybody's religious doctrine or any religion you may associate with this book. My purpose, my reason for doing this work is not to receive, but because I have received. I'm not looking to get something out of it. What I do is because of what I've already gotten out of it. Mic check, mic check. I say I'm going to repeat that. I don't know if this is coming through loud and clear. The energy and space that I'm operating from and the reason and the purpose for what I'm doing is not to get something out of it. It's because of what I've already gotten from it. This is where we coming from. We looking at John and Jesus now. And to help you get into the mode and understand how deep we finna go, John and Jesus is a retelling of Melchizedek and Abraham, Jethro and Moses. Melchizedek was high priest, and Abraham got his game, his bread and his wine from Melchizedek. And Abraham paid homage to Melchizedek. And when Abraham met Melchizedek, his game, his bread and his wine from Melchizedek. And Abraham paid homage to Melchizedek. And when Abraham met Melchizedek, he was already a high priest and king. When Moses met Jethro, Jethro was already a high priest. And Jethro gave Moses his understanding, his daughter to wife. Because daughter in the book is symbolic of understanding. Wife is symbolic of wisdom. John and Jesus is the same story. We're talking about the high priest and the prophet. Mic check, make sure we good. Make sure if I start breaking up or lagging, y'all let me know. Cause we've been experiencing a little bit of lag lately. So what do these allegories symbolize? Melchizedek and Abraham, Jethro and Moses, John and Jesus. What do they symbolize? They symbolize functions of your mind. The subconscious and the conscious mind is what they are symbolic of. The subconscious mind is the high priest. The conscious mind is the prophet. Or if this is too deep, we'll just say that they represent the mind and the body. And the allegory ultimately culminates in the mind and the body being sacrificed. John loses his head. Jesus' body is sacrificed because John represents the mind, Jesus represents the body. Or John is the high priest, Jesus is the prophet in the allegory. I know I'm just taking off, but this is, we spoke on this topic yesterday, so we're gonna get back, open up the book and make sure you understand. This is why the book takes the time to trace the lineage of John through Levi. and that his father was a high priest. And we broke down the meaning of the name of his father, and Elizabeth was Zechariah. John's father is Zechariah. His mother is Elizabeth. Both names have meaning. And I'm going to take my time and give it to you like it was the first time that you heard it. So while I look for the meaning of this name, we dealing with the difference between right and wrong and true and false. Before I just dig and just take off digging off in this book, what's happening to everybody that's in here? What's good? What's happening out? What's good, family? Good vibe and good health, man. I appreciate y'all being up in here because this is specifically to y'all. It may be other people in the crowd, other people in the chat that may stop in and listen to this live. But I'm talking to specific people in the crowd. Catch everything I'm saying because we're talking about John and Jesus. We talking to a crowd, but even though we talking to a crowd, we talking to specific people in the crowd. John had a ministry. John, let's backtrack where we are in the story. We fell from grace. I'm gonna just summarize it as plain as possible. We fell from grace, right? See, we went from just being thankful and living in appreciation and thanksgiving of the grace of the Most High God to thinking that we had to do something right to obtain the blessings. In the course of this, we created In the course of this, we created this law. With this law, there was a lot of conditions and stipulations, and the law was based on seeking after righteousness. The law, this is everything with trying to be right. Because, we fell from grace. And we had the option to repent and turn away from that, but we continue to seek to justify our actions and our deeds and to appear right and righteous before the Most High. And because of this, we created this law. The law came with conditions and stipulations because the enemy knows that that's not your mission and that's not your purpose and that's not your place, and you got tricked into thinking you could do it. He knew you couldn't. It was impossible for you to stand before the Most High in your righteousness, in the flesh. Knew you couldn't do it before you entered into the contract. That's why all these stipulations and conditions was put on it. Knowing that you wasn't going to be able to, it happened again. You called it the subprime mortgage crisis. They gave you contracts. They knew you wasn't going to be, you know what I mean? So they come take it. But yeah, so this is the contract that you entered into because you still didn't get it, that you was under grace and not your righteousness or your knowledge or your understanding or none of that. It was all about the goodness of God. But you still was, I got to do something good. I got to do something right. So the culmination of this thinking results in idolatry. If you take the story literal. If you take the story as allegory, then you understand that these are talking about different states of being on our way to ascension. It's talking about different states of mind. And these stories are describing things that go on within and inside of us. It begins with our creation, and we develop mind first. What you don't understand yet, but are starting to come into the understanding of, is some people are light made flesh, and some people are dirt manifest. Some people are light manifest and some people are dirt manifest. Let me put it like that. So you coming into the understanding of your immortality. This is what the gospel is. This is what the good news is. That you are immortal. So when we look at the story of John one more time, We're going to show you where Jesus got his understanding from, just like where Abraham with Melchizedek and Moses and Jethro. We're going to show you about the high priest and the function of the mind, and where you get our where we get our understanding from. Ultimately, it's the function of the subconscious, which is your high priest, and your conscious mind, which life is lived through, is the prophet or the prince, because God is king. The subconscious mind, high priest, describes your role. And the conscious mind describes your royal lineage, the awareness, makes you a royal priesthood, the double crown. But the concept of the double crown didn't originate with this religion. The concept of the double crown came from an understanding that is ancient. Those that realize that we live and manifest through the mind. That's how we interpret and express and experience life. Mind express and experience life. Mind first. So the lights are placed into the mind on the fourth day. The light becomes flesh and begins to serve its purpose, separate light from darkness. It's how you are the light of the world. You are light manifest. Mic check. You are light manifest. That's what you are. It's how you are the light of the world. You are light manifest. Mic check. You are light manifest. That's what you are. Cause you got the enemy sowed his seed, but you know they came dirt first. And then breath was breathed into them. Your creations began with light. You remember we spent so much time talking about it. But now we said we're going to talk about John. Y'all know how I begin, man. I go to tripping. So John is what I said. That's where we was going. So let's get there. We was reading from Luke last time. That's what we did. We said we read from Luke to get an understanding of why John come first. The name John means grace. The grace of God. God is indeed most gracious. So we're talking about the grace that must come first before you come into this awareness, into the consciousness of your royal lineage. It is by grace that we come into it. It's not because we were so good. That's what this term grace means. It's not because of anything we do or did. It is because of grace. That's what comes first. It's not because of anything we do or did. It is because of grace. That's what comes first. John means it's a story of the mind and the ascension process. You got to start with some humility first. It ain't probably because you did something right or you believe something right. And that's why you got saved. Salvation came by way of grace. That's how you got saved. So let's break the story down one more time for the people in the back of the building. Because we're talking about death, burial, and resurrection, and the realization by grace, by John, of your immortality. Hopefully, I put part 2 on there because it takes immortality. Hopefully, I put part 2 on there because it takes repetition for things to sink in. But this time, I got a feeling because I'm talking to specific individuals, you're going to get it. All right, so let's go. Let's read about the birth of John one more time. I'm going to start with verse 19 because we've been over this, but I'm in Luke chapter 1. And I'm posting the video from yesterday on YouTube. So if you just really want to get caught up, Check it out. Verse 19, the angel answered, I am Gabriel. Gabriel means mighty person of God. Meaning it's not even what we call angels from the kingdom's perspective. They are messengers. You know, we are of royal lineage. So what they call angels, we call messengers. So the word angel means messenger. And Gabriel, mic check, 1, 2. I keep saying it look like I'm breaking up. Let me look on here. If I'm breaking up, just throw me some eyes in the comment section. So Gabriel means mighty person of God, or mighty man, or mighty guy. Like it's not even that specific or special. He's just a messenger. So I stand in the presence of God, and I have been sent to speak to you and tell you this good news. And now you will be silent and not able to speak until the day this happens. Hold on. I'm going to start with verse 8. Bear with this reading. Once when Zechariah's division was on duty, he was serving as priest before God. He was chosen by lot, according to the custom of the priesthood, to go into the temple of the Lord and burn incense. And when the time for the burning of incense came, all the assembled worshipers were praying outside. I broke all this down in the other video. Then an angel of the Lord appeared to him standing at the right side of the altar of incense. When Zechariah saw him, he was startled and gripped with fear. But the angel said to him, do not be afraid, Zechariah. Your prayer has been heard. Your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you are to give him the name John, which means again, grace of God. And your wife is wisdom. He will be a joy and delight to you, and many will rejoice because of his birth. For he will be great in the sight of the Lord. He is never to take wine or other fermented drink, and he will be filled with the Holy Spirit even from birth. So when it says he's not to take wine or fermented drink, if you drink, right, and you get drunk, only your conscious mind is affected. Your subconscious mind operates independently of your conscious mind and is never drunk. It can't be. You did what I'm saying? You can't get it drunk. Just like the constellations operate independently of the sun. It's like that. We're talking about the mind now. We're going to step outside of the symbols and understand what the names mean. Because when you understand what the names mean, you come into the understanding of what's being described. We're talking about the grace of the Most High God. And it's coming by way of a priest. Coming by way of a priest. And his wisdom. Follow this now, because you know what's going to happen to John. Let's go. Many of the people of Israel mean he who struggles with the mighty one, and it is a state of being. It is a state of resistance. Resisting ignorance, resisting hate, resisting pride, resisting greed, resisting confusion. This is what Israel means. That's why Jacob was wrestling with an angel. El is mighty one. We dealing with the Elohim, and among the Elohim there was war. Some of them fell. But they are all Elohim, mighty ones. But we dealing with our Father and King though. And he got an imposter. You know the difference, because one show up on the inside of you from the kingdom, and the other one show up on the outside of you with signs and wonders. Let me not go too fast. And he will go on before the Lord in the spirit and power of Elijah, to turn the hearts of the fathers to their children and the disobedient to the wisdom of the righteous, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord. Okay. One more time. Of the righteous, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord. Okay. One more time. I'm going to read this one more time. And he will go on, and he will go on before the Lord in the spirit and power of Elijah, to turn the hearts of the fathers to their children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the righteous, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord. This is grace now. In the spirit and power of Elijah. Mighty is my God. Mighty is you. Mighty is I am. I am is mighty. What is being described to you? Because we talking about the gospel. We talking about immortality, death, burial, resurrection, and ascension. And he's saying that John is coming. Maybe if I go, what was it? What was I at? Chapter 11? What was I reading from? I think I was reading from Matthew chapter 3. Let me try it one more time. And then we just gonna go back over this here. No. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. Matthew 3:15, we was talking about fulfilling all righteousness, because that has to do with the law. John being the high priest is the one, grace being the high priest is the one that does the anointing. You are anointed by grace. You're not anointed because you're just so special. But I'm looking for that part where he say, man, who you go see in the desert? Matthew chapter 11. Maybe we'll get it this time. After Jesus had finished instructing his 12 disciples, I'm going to say this again for the people that this is your first time listening. Jesus' ministry created followers and disciples of him. John's ministry created Jesus's. After Jesus had finished instructing his 12 disciples, he went on from there to teach and preach in the town of Galilee. One of the meanings of Galilee is revolution. Jesus and his 12 disciples, because we talking about the sun and these constellations that these people got us dealing with. But even that is symbolic of the lights placed inside of your firmament, your mind. And the stars are below you. If you understand that you are light made flesh and not dirt. But I don't know where you trace your lineage from. We trace ours from the kingdom. Let's go. After Jesus had finished instructing his 12 disciples, he went on from there to teach and preach in the towns of Galilee. Jesus means salvation. God is salvation, or God saves. Because salvation comes by way of grace. That's why John come first. That's why Jesus got his game from John. That's why I keep saying John's message was everybody that came to John in the desert. Everybody that came to John in the desert, as they approach him, John would say, behold, the Lamb of God that comes to take away the sin of the world. And John had a message of immortality, or what you would call reincarnation, because John knew that he was in the spirit of Elijah. Yeah, he knew he had been here before. He knew it and came back and realized, oh, this is what immortality is. Because we live through the mind, not the dirt. And the light of the mind don't never set. The light that's on the dirt is what's set. Oh. So this is grace. His name is grace. This is grace. This is a grace and a mercy. His name. So Jesus, salvation comes by way of grace. Because Jesus was in the crowd. I said Jesus' message made followers of him. John's message made Jesus's. Jesus was in the crowd. Salvation is there, available to you. If you accept the grace and quit thinking it's something you got to do. So what end up happening is once you accept the grace and you come out of thinking it's what you got to do, you're going to sacrifice your mind and your body to the will of the Most High. So John lost his head, Jesus' body. You got to do, you're going to sacrifice your mind and your body to the will of the Most High. So John lost his head, Jesus' body sacrifice. This is what this allegory is busting down to you. But the flip side, because busting down to you. But the flip side, because we in upside down backwards world. The one that's known is the one that's looked at and seen, and the one that's known is the one that's looked at and seen and recognized, the conscious mind, the physical body, the sun in the sky. Like that's the only one. And the only special anointed one with all the light. But in the night, in the subconscious where all the lights are, you realize you can't count how many. It's just one among many. It ain't the only one. That's not the only sun. It's a whole lot. I can't count how many suns. I'm in the eternal kingdom. I have a role in the eternal kingdom. And we're talking about the mind now. Every mind have a high priest and a prophet, a subconscious and a conscious. Both must be sacrificed to the will of the Most High. A body has been prepared for you. You are the light of the world. In the upside down backwards world, where everybody live body first, ego first, you are the light of the world. Because light, according to the Most High, is knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You are the light of the world. But they not going to recognize that you're going to be a lamb when you manifest. You're going to be slaughtered, taken for granted, hated. But because of this, once you start to manifest your roles in reality, you're just going to start being isolated and set apart. Because you don't have any more, mic check, 1 2 1 2. You're going to be and set apart in this world because the Lord is my shepherd and I shall not have any more wants. You don't have any more desires because you are no longer looking to receive. You're coming from what you have already received. And it's infinite. It's eternal. I'm in a state of gratitude and joy from now on because I know where I came from. I'm not looking to get nothing out of it. Because what I'm doing is because of what I got out of it. I'm just bringing out the meal. Mama cooked it. Daddy provided it. It's a lot. We can put a whole lot of information into a little bitty space. I can say with one sentence, I can put a whole lot in one sentence. A whole forest. Don't get mad because you looking at a leaf and it's a tear in it. I just put a whole forest in your face. You looking at the leaves. Hey man, I'm trying to get somebody to understand what's being done and how we got tricked out of our grace by this thing called religion, how we got tricked out of our grace by this thing called religion, seeking after righteousness. Like you know what it is. Oh my goodness. Like you know what it is. Nah, for real, I'm serious, man. How many times have you prayed with your whole heart in all your might to get out of them situations that was good for you turned around in the same situation that you bitched and boo-hooed and cried to get out of, you now are thankful for having experience. What this mean is, this like the children of Israel being held in prison, then getting out of prison, and then making laws to enslave other people. You barely can consistently comprehend right and wrong for yourself. Admittedly, had a nerve to go tell somebody else they living their life wrong, when you done prayed to get out of situations that was good for you. Don't they tell you you don't really have that much of a grasp on right or wrong, even for yourself? How about you humble yourself and accept the grace of God that you hear, because God is good, not because you are. Then I won't need your religion though, will I? Because I can live my life in appreciation. You did what I'm saying, but it take a trip into the wilderness to come into this grace, to this understanding. And then you get to the point you're going to sacrifice your ego. Because ultimately, I said Jesus and John. John is the subconscious and Jesus is the conscious. This ego, this false self. Ultimately, you're going to go on and sacrifice your ego when you realize it's because God good, not you. Because it's because of what God knows, not you. Nah, for real. We gonna come into the acceptance that it's more that we don't know than what we do. And we don't thank God for that. And just accept the grace as a mercy to us. Understand that this is how we fail, and then to go deeper into it is ultimately because we wanted some of his praise. We wanted, you want to be right. We wanted to be right and good so we could get some praise. But all praise be to the Most High. It's his praise. And what happened in the kingdom was the one that was supposed to give the praise up threw it down. He threw down the praise of the Most High. So we end up running around here looking for the praise of the Most High by way of seeking after righteousness in our laws and our idols and our religion so that we can be right. Your mama sent you outside to play. She said, go play, go outside, go play. You went outside to go play. Then somebody slithered up on you and told you wasn't playing right. I see your mama sent you outside to play, but you know you're not playing right. And you say, oh, I didn't know it was a right or wrong way to play. Yeah, you got to play right so your mama can be happy with the way you was playing. Mama ain't told you nothing about playing right. She just said, go play. Play mean live. But when they told you, okay, well, you got to play right, then he say, well, I want you to go out and tell everybody that you see playing, show them how to play right. So you went around telling people, hey, you know, you ain't playing right. You got to play like this. Some people was like, all right, well, it don't matter to me. I'm just playing. Some people was like, yeah, it don't matter to me. I'm just playing anyway. I play like that. Some people was like, man, if you don't get away from me, I'm finna play how I want to play. So you went back to the one that told you how to play right. And it was a right or wrong way to play. You went back to him and he say, well, you know what you should do? You should go take their toys for yourself and you play with them with your friends because they don't know how to play with their toys right. That's what you should do. So you went back and said, you know what, because y'all ain't over here playing right like y'all supposed to play. I'm finna take all y'all toys because y'all don't know how to play with them. We finna play with them because we know how to play right with them. That's what your religion is. You got tricked into thinking it was a right or wrong way to do this thing, huh? Nobody asked that of you. We're trying to show you how your mind works, that you can trust your subconscious mind, that you don't have to go outside of yourself for guidance and understanding and acceptance and validation and power. It's all in your subconscious. It's already in you, baby. It's an infinite amount of it. That's what that outer space that you call up there, that's what that symbolizes, the infiniteness of your subconscious mind. When you accept the grace of God, And quit thinking it's because you got to do something right. Go on, sacrifice your ego. Put it on the cross, because your ego is symbolized by the sun and it's on the cross. Don't it go up and down, back and forth? The story of Job. Hey, man, Satan, where you been? I've been going back and forth, up and down in the earth. It's the path of the sun. Job means persecution. They didn't teach you the book. They just gave you a religion. But the book was about you. We keep telling you they took you and gave it back to you in the form of a religion. Now, we mean that literally. They took you and gave your story back to you in the form of a religion about somebody else. And told you it was right. So God is judged. God has already judged everything as very good. Know you not that you will judge angels. And we've given the judgment of this idolatry and called it righteous and good. So what we see manifesting in front of us is the confusion and the destruction of it. Because we judged it so. And when we collectively stop calling these religions righteous and good, we will change the world. When we look for the truth and stand on what's true, stop coming in place of the wicked, righteous, holy, and good, and desired by God. Really? But just to show you that ain't what it is, I'm going to manifest it in front of you in reality, in your face. I mean, till it's coming out of your ears. Till you stop calling it good. But as long as you call genocide okay, and that's cool, when we read what was going on in Joshua in Exodus and we take these stories literal, backwards, and externalize and personify these characters outside of the self, then we must glorify the genocide of it. Because you took it literal. You are taking it literal. So now, because you do, you must find a way to justify the wickedness of it. So you do it in the name of your religion or your God or your idol. That's what's going on. I'm not talking to everybody that's in the crowd. I'm talking to some people that have been rocking with me and finally coming into some understanding of what these stories symbolize and why John, grace, comes first. So that you can get it. And it's the reason why we got to explain things to them through the veil, because that's the only way they're going to understand it. And we have to exercise and accept grace and be gracious in the process, because they can't see what you see. You have a job and a duty inside of the temple. They haven't come into that awareness, consciousness yet. So they still looking for evidence of a symbol outside of themselves. So we are going to be scrutinized until they learn that, hey, I'm just going to hold up a mirror for you until you're ready to look in it. Because I'm talking about you. So John taught Jesus about immortality by realizing that he came in the spirit of Elijah. And if you can accept it, John was Elijah and reincarnated. This is how immortality manifests in the flesh. Everything around you points to it. Regeneration. So that it's good news, it's gospel, it's good news, so you can quit fearing death and punishment. And now you can start looking for some truth and standing on truth and coming into the process of getting ready to sacrifice your ego, your body, and your conscious mind, and understand that you can trust your subconscious mind, the seat of the throne, where it is in deep darkness. That's where the messengers are. So you can leave your conscious mind and go into your subconscious. That's just what we mean by meditation. Zechariah mean meditate. God remembers. That's what Zechariah literally mean. Meditate. God remembers. God don't forget. It means God thinks upon. God is just a title. It's just a title. It's just 3 letters. And they capitalize the G. That's all it is. Understand that you come from a kingdom in the likeness and image. Some people understand and understand that they are light made flesh. And some people think that they are dirt made flesh. I can't make it no more plain than that. Once you realize who and what you are and the difference between the two, you're going to live, you're going to go from talking to speaking. It's not going to be talking no more. You're going to speak because you're going to speak from your subconscious. You're going to be like, have access to go back and forth. It ain't going to be no drawn out religious ceremonial process. It's going to be an act of acceptance and submission. When you speak, if you speak, it's a whole nother level. But with the grace and the mercy, it's humility and accepting people for wherever they are, wherever you are. Hey, man, that's where you're supposed to be. I can't live your life for you. You can't live mine for me. But by the grace of the Most High, we are all here. Yeah, I'm not here for my understanding. You not here for your lack of. By the grace of the Most High, we are all here. So in humility, man, I just bring out the meal that mama prepared and daddy provided. Mic check, make sure we still good. We talking about Jesus and John, and this whole time we've been talking about Jesus and John, but some people only understand it by way of allegory. That's why you have to teach babies with symbols. But at some point, we're going to have to speak from beyond the veil. But for those who cannot get it, so the law, get out of this contract, right? The contract must be fulfilled. Got to fulfill the contract. Microphone checker, microphone checker. So John is from Levi. Jesus is from Judah. Levi is those that bind with the law, the priesthood. Jesus represent your royal lineage. The king come from Judah, the praise of the Most High. When Jesus gets baptized by John, and he tells John that we must do this to fulfill all righteousness. It is because of their law and the allegory of a sacrifice. The high priest is the one that does the anointing, and you pick the scapegoat, and you pick the one that's going to be a sin offering. So Jesus representing the body in the allegory, and John representing the mind. The body is the sin offering. This is what must be offered at the place of the skull. So when Jesus is baptized or anointed by John, it's a story of you becoming into the awareness of who you are by way of your anointing, and that your body, your ego must be laid down, sacrifice. This awareness comes by the grace of God. It's John that's doing the baptizing. It comes from the subconscious. This awareness is born from the subconscious. This is the story of John and Jesus outside of the religion, but this is what it's symbolizing by way of their law. Because the law that we come into by grace is the law of love, appreciation, understanding, grace, mercy. This is the new law. Once you come into the understanding of your immortality and you so thankful for it. Am I making sense? Is it making any sense? And the only way you gonna understand it, you see people, my people that been following, the only way it makes sense is if it's explained through a veil. After Abraham left Melchizedek, Abraham was different. After Moses left Jethro, Moses saw God. He saw the fire. He saw the mount both times. Every time Moses chopped it up with Jethro, he saw God. He started to understand it. Jesus was in the crowd when John taught. Jesus taught just like John taught, because you're going to stop talking and you're going to speak from your subconscious mind. You just going to let it flow. That's why they talk similar. The conscious making sure you aware. You know that you just can just let it flow now. You don't even have to, it just tap into the subconscious. It's already there. Just trust by the grace of God that is there and let it go, baby. Y'all, is it sinking in? This is not my message. This is the same message that has been repeated over and over. It is repeated over and over in everything we look at, literally, all the way down to the atomic level. It's the same story, your story. It's not about learning God's name, it's learning your name. Do you know who you are? Yeah. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. We're going to post it on YouTube and we can run it back and marinate on it. So this is what these stories symbolize. I'm finna open up the chat, open up the panel, get in here, share the revelation, whatever understanding that you got, that you getting right now, get in here and speak on it. We're gonna do it little bit by little bit. If y'all can hear me, if anybody want to get on here, I mean, the flow is open. So this is what I've been talking about this whole time. I've been repeating it over and over, but the downloads come as they come, and I share them as they come. I'm repeating the same thing, just in different ways. Telling the same story, but just finding a different way to tell it so that understanding, not agreement. I know you're not going to necessarily agree with everything, but that you can understand it. And if you came into some understanding, then okay, I did my job. And if not, I know I'm humble enough to understand that it's not up to me whether or not you gain understanding. And I accept it. I'm trying to let you in, Jonathan, man. You know how my phone be tripping. I go to touching on the phone, the screens.
Man, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, it's just like you saying. Once you start, once the revelation start coming, you're not gonna think about what you're saying. It's just gonna start coming out your subconscious, out your mind. It's gonna flow, and then those who have that understanding and wisdom already, who really right now, as we speak, we tapping into people's subconscious mind. So that's where they at anyway when they listening to us, or when they listening to this live, or other people that are speaking the same language as you, right? So with that being said, we all in our subconscious mind. Like, I just talked to a lady the other day, homeless lady, right? And this is not to my home, but I just talked to her and just started talking to her. And she started, like you said, start speaking revelations to me. You feel me? Now, am I gonna say what she said? No, cause that's for me. You feel what I'm saying? But in that aspect, we were both just chopping it up through
Yeah.
not our subconscious mind was just speaking, but we was consciously aware of what we were saying to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Pooh Ray, he say, I'm confused. You have spoken against the fake teaching, and now are you saying that Jesus is real? I don't know at what point that you came in on the live, bro. Your subconscious and your mind is your subconscious mind and your conscious mind is most definitely real. And I'm saying that this is what these stories are allegories or symbolic of. It's talking about the mind, how it functions, and it's also talking about our role here in this realm, our function, not according to religion or right or wrong, but according to family, kingdom, an immortal, eternal kingdom. But like I said, I don't know at what point you got on the live. My bad, Jonathan. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, a lot of people, when they jump in, you normally be speaking about JC. Whenever they jump in, you normally be speaking about JC, and they ain't understanding. Like, we done already broke down the names, we done broke down the characters, we done, what I'm saying, now we entering into the aspect of and subconsciousness in this spiritual aspect of things. You know what I'm saying? See,
No,
that's
no,
that's
no,
what
no.
we
This,
at
hold
now, and
on.
a lot of people on the
I'm gonna do
literal.
it like
I'm gonna
this.
break it
Oh,
down in literal terms, okay? So we have our conscious mind, which is the cortex, right?
Go ahead. Go
In your
ahead. Go
waking
ahead.
state, in your waking state,
Mhm.
what you see, what you hear, what you feed your conscious mind, your cortex, right? It only it absorbs that information, right? It will be sent to the hippocampus. And in your resting state, when you are sleeping, in your resting state, that will be sent to the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is what's responsible for making sense of that information. Now, if you feed your mind a certain amount of information, 3 days or longer, repetition, right? That then will be sent back from the subconscious mind to the hippocampus, right? Back to the cortex, your conscious mind, to make long-term memories. It will either make a new memory or it will build upon what you already know. Okay? So that's why it's very important what you feed and what you feed your mind. Okay? It's very important. But it is all explainable. It is all
Cooked
explainable.
in.
Okay?
Cooked in. You hear me? And then to make it literal, well, allegorical. This is the same thing as John preaching, and it's a crowd around, but I'm not talking to everybody in the crowd. I'm talking to specific people in the crowd. So I know everybody not gonna get it, but for the ones that do get it, this is who it's for. But we not tripping with those that don't, to help you understand what's going on. This is what's going on now. It's like John teaching in the wilderness and Jesus being in the crowd. And the people that get it, that's Jesus. People that don't, that's just the crowd.
I say.
hey
Yeah,
man,
man, we
already,
just chopping it and looking beyond. So the
dude.
trick is we got enslaved and tricked into these religions. Go ahead, John.
Okay, my bad. Yeah. I was listening to a dude yesterday. Medusa know who I was talking to because she sent him to me. But like I was telling y'all in my message I sent y'all in the group that we in, on how we are the church, and we need to embody that entity of the church. You know what I'm saying? Because of the situation that they have set up through the government for the churches. You know what I'm saying? Because the church, like as we know, the transfer of powers. You feel me? That was going on in the Bibles that you are teaching of, which is coming down on the mountain. You know what I'm talking about? And then also Joseph with the transfer of our body for currency. And dang, it was one more you was teaching. I'm trying to think of, but I can't think of it right now. But you know what I'm saying? If you can elaborate up on those, we would definitely love to, get that insight. You know what I'm talking about?
Elaborate on what now? And appreciate you, Medusa. Thank you. For real. What you say, elaborate on what, Jonathan? And I always call him John. I've been calling him John since forever. I've been knowing Jonathan since we was kids. And I always call him John. I
Already.
don't know why.
Well, Jonathan mean gift from God, and hell mean my last
But
name. Hell means strength in the Hebrew. I ain't look up Jermaine yet, but I know Jermaine got something to do with something that I'm gonna throw it all together and make it my religion. But
oh really? Oh really?
hey, but what
Hey,
I was saying
you gonna
was,
have to come to the ranch one day, bro.
oh, bro, you already know it, man. I already got plans on it, man. You ain't speaking nothing I ain't never thought of already. I was saying,
Yeah.
elaborate on the transfers, on the transfers of power that we gave to LG, right? As far as our religion goes, that's on the mountain, and then the transfer of power that we gave to Joseph, the Egyptian, for our body or our labor or our energy for currency.
Woo. Well, all right, man. So when I went live before, we was just going over the Bible and just showing how the literal take, if you take the stories literal, showing you how it was prophecy that they would be taken literal, and how that it is actually satanic in nature. And we got to the book of Exodus. This may be hard for people to understand, so I'm gonna say that one more time. I've been going through the Bible with my people, showing them how it was prophecy that there would be a literal take on this information, and that the prophecy is the literal take of this information is satanic, or what the Bible calls of Satan. So in the book of Exodus, when Exodus mean to leave a great departure, separation. In the book of Exodus, the children of Israel are leaving Egypt. Egypt is Mizraim, or fortified place or prison, symbolically leaving the body. They starting to look beyond the body, and they're going into the wilderness to worship. So they leaving the body in the confines and the chaos, and they leaving the city and all the good conveniences of being in the city, and they in the desert, in the wilderness, on the way to worship. A 3 days journey. That's where they said they was going in the first place. So Moses talked to Jethro. Jethro tell Moses how to set up his government in Exodus chapter 18, starting from verse 7. So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law and bowed down and kissed him, just like Abraham bowed down to Melchizedek, because Jethro is the priest in the story. And we're talking about the conscious mind submitting to the conscious mind. But the literal take, these are characters. So if we looking at it literally, Moses is a descendant of Adam, those that who were made dirt first. He's a descendant of them. And if you take it literal, Adam was made by himself, then put to sleep and surgery done on him. That's how he got his wisdom or his woman. It's artificial. It's not natural. And their lineage is traced all the way down to Moses, and these are the people that came from that lineage, from that bloodline. And these people are about to enter into a covenant or a contract with a being that they've been interacting with, that they can see, hear. He done showed up a few times, and he's been showing up to Moses. And they're going to make this being that they can see and interact with their God. And by way of what they call a covenant, or basically a contract. It happened at the foot of the mountain. So let's read it. Hold on. I want to read about Jethro, but that's going to make me get too far off track. So on the morning of the third day, Exodus chapter 19, on the morning of the third day, there was thunder and lightning in a thick cloud over the mountain in a very loud trumpet blast. This is very important. This trumpet blast is the seventh trumpet in Revelations. The book of Revelation happens outside of time, from eternity. Eternity manifests cyclically. It keep happening over and over. So what has happened is happening and will happen. That's how it goes. So on the seventh trumpet, let's read what happened when the seventh trumpet blasts in the book of Revelation, because the trumpet that they hear is not coming from the camp. It's none of the children of Israel that's blowing the trumpet. It's not Moses. They're hearing it. Now the trumpet blast, it signifies alarm and calamity. It's not a cause of celebration and praise as is revealed in Revelation. So let's get to it. Revelation chapter 11 verse 15. The seventh angel sounded his trumpet, and there were loud voices in heaven. Hold on, let's get to why these trumpets are sounding. So see what you did, Jonathan, man? Because we got to do it in context. You got to do it in context, or you're not going to understand what's happening.
Oh, I know what
Why
I
are
mean.
these trumpets going off? Why are these trumpets going off? The trumpets are going off because in Revelation chapter 8, and I saw the seven angels who stand before God. These are the seven spirits that stand before God. So in the beginning, when they say there was a spirit hovering over the face of the water, you have to ask yourself which one it was, because there are seven that stand before the Most High, according to the Bible. But let's go. And to them were given seven trumpets. Another angel, because you got one that's of the seven, even he is the eighth, and must go into perdition. Another angel who had a golden censer came and stood at the altar. He was given much incense to offer with the prayers of all the saints. This is why Jesus was given gold, incense, and myrrh. It was signifying the role of your conscious mind and what it is. But let's not get too far off topic because we're going to lose you. So he was given much incense to offer with the prayers of all the saints on the golden altar before the throne. The seat of the throne is in the subconscious mind in deep darkness. The smoke of the incense together with the prayers of the saints went up before God from the angel's hand. So you must understand that this is a very high position. This is what we call a high priest in your religion. But it is basically describing a function, a go-between, between the known and the unknown in the mind, which we call heaven, and the kingdom of heaven is within you. So we're describing the inner workings of the kingdom, which take place independently of the conscious mind. So This angel, though, this messenger, let's go with the symbols. His job is to collect the praise of the Most High. It's not his, though. Don't belong to him. He's just doing his job. He just collected and presented. Because within his praise, his prayers and supplications, because it feel good when my baby boy asks me to do something for him. Come on, boy, I got you. Come on, baby girl, I got you. That's praise every time you come. But that's his job, though, to collect the praise and bring it, but it's not his praise. It don't belong to him. It belongs to the Most High. He ain't got no business worrying about what's going to be done with it. Let's see what he do with this prayer and his praise that's put in his hand to present. Then the angel, the messenger, took the censer, filled it with fire from the altar, and hurled it on the earth. If it can't be about me and I can't have none of it, I don't want nobody to have none. You know how haters act. They can't get the praise and the recognition. You getting praise and recognition, so they want everybody to just hate you because they hating. And they need help hating too. You know how it go. So he throw it down, filled it with fire. What filled it with fire from the altar? That means he profaned it. Man, forget that nigga, man. Nigga
Hey,
nothing. Nigga ain't nobody. Yeah. Just breaking it down so the people can understand what went on. You know what I'm saying? So he throw it down, but he wasn't supposed to throw it down. He was supposed to give it up. So when he threw it down, that created a vacancy that had to be filled. But when he threw it down, then the seven angels who had the seven trumpets prepared to sound them. The first angel sounded his trumpet, and there came hell, fire mixed with blood, and it was hurled down upon the earth. So you get these signs from the Lord in Egypt: water turning to blood, and the seas and the ocean and the rivers. And a third of the earth was burned up. Why a third? You get this story of Sodom and Gomorrah, the destruction being so great that Lot's children couldn't find nobody to mate with. Why is it a third of the children? Because the angel that rebelled, he swept a third of the angels. We fell because we wanted some praise. This is the hard part. We fell because we wanted some praise. Ooh. So this is our experience in the fall. So we can learn grace, gratitude. Why there ain't none of the praise yours? You need to understand, baby, why none of this is yours. It don't belong to you. This is daddy's. You need to understand why. Okay, but so a third of the age represent, the enemy sold his seed. His seed is represented in the third. Because the judgment, know ye not that you will judge angels? The judgment is on the third. We're going to dig deep into it. So the second angel sounded this trumpet, something like a huge mountain. All the blades were thrown into the sea. So that first one, the first angel sounded, fire mixed with blood, and it was hurled down to the earth. That's Sodom and Gomorrah. Then the second angel sounding is the beginning of the plagues in Egypt. Because the Lord, who is actually Satan, is showing Moses who he is. His first sign was the serpent turning the staff, which represented the understanding that you lean on, into a serpent, turning the water into blood, and sticking his hand and showing him sickness and disease, serpent, and blood. This is his sign to show Moses who he was, because these people actually worship Satan in disguise. This is what your religion actually is. So these trumpets are alarms because the praise was thrown down. And all these religions got to do with some praise. So, and it's the third, the big three that rule the world. They came from Adam, and then came from Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael. All three of the world's main religion. This third. Know you not that you will judge angels, messengers? They fell from the sky, third of the river. So this is the third, the punishment that they were facing, the water being made bitter while they was out there wandering around. The locusts, all the plagues of the locusts, these are armies. The frogs, the gnats, the flies, these are armies. These are the trumpets. Now the seventh trumpet, though, it say, woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth for the voices of the seven trumpets that's about to sound. Because it's going to be great calamity when you hear that trumpet. We at the foot of the mountain in Exodus, and you hearing this trumpet. Let me show you what it is. The seventh angel sounded his trumpet, and there were loud voices in heaven which said, the kingdom of the world have become the kingdom of our Lord and of his Christ. It's not a good thing. This is the seventh trumpet that they are hearing on the mountain. It is a transfer of power. What is happening? The kingdom of the world have become the kingdom of our Lord and his Christ, and he will reign forever and ever. Because you have a lesser light that governs the darkness, that governs over death, shadow, the flesh. And the Lord, their Lord and his Christ have to do with the flesh. The law that they have to do with the governing of the flesh. The Lord that they praise is a physical person that they can see, touch, taste, smell, and interact with. The transfer of power is happening on the mountain. Let me show you how. See, when they heard this seventh trumpet, when they heard that trumpet, let me show you what happened. Make sure you understand how to read this book, because they gave you a religion. They gave you a belief. They did not give you knowledge. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding come from the kingdom, though. I can talk to them blue in the face. Unless it's from the kingdom and from the king that you understand it, you won't. But for those that can, we're going to look at it one more time. Jonathan, I'm not going to let you do this to me again. We're going to ban you from asking no question. You can't ask no question on the live. We're not letting you do this again. We not. Exodus 19. So on the morning of the third day, chapter 19, verse 16, there was thunder and lightning with a thick cloud over the mountain and a very loud trumpet blast. Everyone in the camp trembled. Then Moses led the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Mount Sinai was covered with smoke because the Lord sent it on it in fire. The smoke billowed up from it like smoke from a furnace. The whole mountain trembled violently, and the sound of the trumpet grew louder and louder. Then Moses spoke, and the voice of God answered him. The Lord descended to the top of Mount Sinai and called Moses to the top of the mountain. Why do it interchange from the voice of God and the Lord? It's the difference between the two. God mean Elohim, which mean the powers. The Lord in all caps mean I am that I am, or the you. But we're going to stay on the literal meaning right quick for the people that don't understand what took place here. You hear these trumpets because it is at this mountain that Israel is going to enter into this contract, a contract that they cannot fulfill, a contract by which they will become enslaved and begin to practice idolatry. Enter into this contract because there's stipulations and conditions in this contract, and it's based on righteousness, you doing stuff right. It got nothing to do with the grace of the Most High God. It has to do with you doing the right thing in the right way at the right time in order to receive blessings and goodness. And if you don't, all of these conditions and terms apply. It was a setup. It was a bad deal. That's why in Ezekiel, dealing with the Lord, telling you who he was, that's why I gave them laws and statutes that were not good and statutes that they could not live by. I knew they couldn't do it. So in Revelation, when you see the angel with one leg over the land and one leg on the sea, let's read it. I'm a pause. So let me show you what's happening. The book of Revelation describes what's going on, and it describes it clearly. Let's read it. I'm not going into Joseph this time, because Joseph, I might, bro. But it requires so much backtracking that you know how I get it. I'm not going to let you do me like that, bro. I'm not doing it. Then I saw, Revelation chapter 10, then I saw another mighty angel coming down from heaven. He was robed in a cloud. It's a cloud on the mountain. Need you to understand, we just looking at the literal take on it and what they saw. Then I saw another mighty angel, messenger, but he's just a messenger, but he's of the Elohim, of the mighty ones, a mighty angel. That's what it say. The mighty one, he who struggles with the mighty one. This is what he looked like. And coming down from heaven, he was robed in the cloud with a rainbow above his head. See, this is the one that caused the flood. He said, I'm going to put my bow in the clouds. The dragon spewed out of his mouth water like a flood to overtake the woman. But the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the water that the dragon spewed out of his mouth. It was his bow that was put in the clouds. Just showing you who they've been worshiping, because they've been following something they can see. He showed up in the cloud. He got a rainbow over his head. What else he got going on? His face was like the sun. Bright and shining. I've been telling you, the sun in the sky is symbolic of Lucifer. The star that you can see are symbolic of angels in their fallen state. That's why you can see them. His legs were like fiery pillars. So they followed the cloud by day, and they followed a fiery pillar by night. This is who they follow. This is their God. And let me show you where they got their law from. He was holding a little scroll.
Say something real quick though.
I'm gonna give you my law. I'm gonna give it to you. Bust it down.
Can I say something real quick though, bro? Okay, so I
Go
want
ahead, bro.
you to understand.
Go ahead.
The word pillar mean that you holding something up. You know what I'm saying? A pillar holds something up. So understand that that's what they mean, holding something up. So in that aspect, like you're saying, if they following a pillar, like you're saying, the sun and the moon, as you know what I'm saying, in that aspect, from my understanding, that's what that came to me and what that means to me, the pillars.
Yeah, that the word pillar does have a lot of meaning. You're right. I was looking at that in some of the Book of the Dead. But so let's keep describing. His legs were like fiery pillars. This is what they follow at night. The cloud by day, fiery pillar at night. I'm gonna send my angel before you. He was holding a little scroll, which lay open in his hand. He planted his right foot on the sea and his left foot on the land, and he gave a loud shout like the roar of a lion. This angel is making claim. He's staking the claim over the land and over the sea. I know you ain't never been taught this, and this is only for those who can accept what's being described. When a lion catches the prey, he roars to keep everything else away from him. He's standing over the prey, roaring like a lion, and he have a little scroll, face like the sun, rainbow, cloud, legs like fire pillars. They're gonna see him repeatedly. This is what they gonna call their God. This is what they are following. This is where they got their law from. This is the little scroll. When he shouted, the voices of the seven thunders spoke, and when the seven thunders spoke, I was about to write. But I heard a voice from heaven say, seal up what the seven thunders have said, and do not write it down, which means this must come, the understanding must come by way of revelation. You're not going to get it out of a book. You're not going to get it from a preacher. The understanding is going to come from the kingdom, if it's for you. Then the angel I had seen standing on the sea and on the land raised his right hand to heaven, and he swore by him who lives forever and ever, there will be no more delay. I just skipped down. But in the days when the seventh angel is about to sound his trumpet, the mystery, my story of God will be accomplished. Just to let you know that the seventh trumpet these things have already happened. They heard the trumpet blast at the mountain. That was the seventh one. But the mystery of God will be accomplished just as he announced to his servants, the prophets. Then the voice that I had heard from heaven spoke to me once more. Go, take the scroll that lies open in the hand of the angel who was standing on the sea and on the land. So I went to the angel and asked him, give me the little scroll. He said, take it and eat it. It will turn your stomach sour, but in your mouth, it will be as sweet as honey. So this law, this concept of being right, telling people they wrong, it sounds good. Oh, but when you see it manifest in reality, it ain't gonna feel good. Thinking that you gotta be right and do it right, oh, it's gonna sound good too. Oh, man. But when you actually see it and experience it, you'll be like, nah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I just seen an innocent person get unalive, and I didn't like seeing that. I'm seeing people be unalive in the name of their religion, and I don't like seeing that. But you called it good and righteous. It's gonna sound good, but it's gonna feel, when you experience it, it ain't gonna be like all you thought it was. So so he took the scroll, and yeah, I had eaten. It tasted sweet as honey in my mouth, but when I had eaten it, my stomach turned sour. I had a bad experience. That's why these people coming out of these religions and these self-righteous people, and everybody telling them they wrong and condemn them like they know what it is. It's becoming odious. It stink. Nobody want to be around that energy anymore. It's sour. Yeah, might check. You must prophecy again. So that was why the trumpet sounded, and that was the transfer of power. And by this, you get Christ. Your Christ, the one that you are, does he come by way of these people in the literal take of this book and their law. Your favorite idol, which is the ultimate result in the fall from grace. Idolatry. Finna see who else got questions, comments, because I don't know at what point y'all came in. Am I live and clear? Y'all let me know. If y'all understanding, if you're not understanding, let me know. If you disagree, that's cool. I ain't doing no tripping. You don't have to agree. Just trying to get some understanding, that's all. But Jonathan brought up, okay, so what happened? I'm gonna summarize with Joseph because I've been talking for a minute. what happened in the story of the children of Israel becoming enslaved, it was by way of Joseph. It was Joseph that did it. Joseph enslaved all of Egypt. Few generations later, Joseph's people, see, listen, when Joseph instituted, okay, the famine came. Joseph gave Pharaoh the game. Hey, man, famine coming, get ready. Because Joseph gave Pharaoh the game, Pharaoh put Joseph in charge of making sure they made it through the famine. So the first year, the people sold, they used their money. So Joseph said, well, we're going to collect a tax while it's good, so that when it get bad, we'll have a storehouse for the people. So the people gave up their fifth of all their crops and all their produce and their animals and their money to Pharaoh in preparation for the famine. Excuse me. But when the famine came, they couldn't just go get government subsidies. Joseph made them buy it until they didn't have any more money, even though it was taken up for them in the first place. Catch what I'm saying? They had to buy it back till they ran out of money and they couldn't afford it anymore. So then they started giving up their animals to the government, to Pharaoh. And then they ran out of animals to give up because the famine was still bad. So then they gave up their land. Because, Pharaoh and them still was balling. They had plenty. They've been collecting and saving. People been getting taxed. So when they ran out of land to give up and trade, they said, well, all we have left is our bodies. We will sell you our bodies and work for you, for Pharaoh, for the government, in exchange for subsidy, food, shelter, few animals, piece of land. And that's how it played out. Everybody they agreed to do this. Joseph at this time is in favor, though, in his people. But remember, they're foreigners. Everybody else having it hard, but these foreigners in our land got their own little section of land and living good. And they falling out of favor as the generations go on. And people still slaves. But when they ended up, Joseph's people, when they too got enslaved, that's when they cried out. That's why as soon as they got freed, if you take the story literal, these people that just got freed from years and years of bondage, what did they do? They turned around and made laws concerning enslaving other people. Just trying to help you understand the different lineage, those that are light made flesh and how we operate by grace, and those that are dirt made flesh and they operate by force. Rituals. We not the same. And it's becoming evident. It's no longer can be hidden. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Can you elaborate on the 11th commandment so they can understand on how they became slaves? Because most people gonna be like, well, how they became slaves? You got these. I'm just busting it down for you, man. You know what I'm talking about? Because they ain't gonna know. They let these questions people gonna ask. So I know this already because me and you went up and down through this.
Yeah. But this how you got enslaved. The reason they stopped at 10 commandments, if you go back to Exodus and you read the 10 commandments in the story, right after that 10th commandment, they got a little interlude, but the very next commandment deal with slavery. That's why they stop at 10. Read it for yourself. I'm not going there though, Jonathan. Not this time. I've been talking too long. You can no, man, I'm not finna go there. And I can talk till I'm blue in the face, bro. Some people it's not time for them to understand it. We can just plant the seed and it's gonna be brought to their subconscious and it's gonna marinate. They here for a reason. It may not, you know what I'm saying? None of this is by coincidence. None of it. Yeah, you see what he trying to do, Medusa. I'm not finna, you're not finna have me on this live. Uh, yeah, I'm finna go. I've been searching for this truth for a long time. We all have. We all have. And it's been in our face. It's just hidden. That's why they call it occult or esoteric. This is what some of your preachers and pastors have sworn oaths never to teach you. It's very deep. And this spiritual warfare in real life and in real time is really happening. Um, yeah. I realize where we are. Understand that it's a lot that I cannot say on this platform. Understand. Pay attention to, if you watch my videos, if you understand that I'm exercising the spiritual gift and I tap into that subconscious and I just let it flow. It's more than the surface level in the sentences that I'm saying. And you can go back and not only look at what I have said, by contrast, you can look at what I did speak on. If you into that understanding that, yeah, we speak on the battle, we speak on the war, we just speak on it from a level of understanding. But sometimes we talk through the veil and we break down the book too. But it's a lot of people that have been rocking with us for a while, that been walking, and I can't keep giving them the same meal, the same thing over and over. They looking for learning. So we gonna start catering more towards the people that's getting the understanding and been here for a while and making sure you getting it, as opposed to all the time having to repeat the same thing for the people that's just coming in. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm about to go on the dig, slide on back, get off in the back cave and marinate. I appreciate y'all time, family. And marinate on what's being said. It's a labor of love. It's from a place of love. God is great. The Most High is great. Our praise be to the Most High in this life we've been given. I heard it was eternal. I heard somewhere. I might be wrong, but I don't just won't worry about that. But I heard somewhere that this life we've been given is eternal. And I'm thankful for that. Peace, y'all.
Peace. Gratitude. Always love.
Already, bro.
If they let me get off the app.
Hey, I ain't want to do it to you.